Hi there and welcome to my first Abyss focused video ever. Before we get started, please excuse my voice. I'm very sick. So yeah, my voice is pretty deep and sore and weird, so please just excuse it and ignore that. But yeah, for me, the Abyss is not easy at all, okay? My teams are not that well built. And I'm a slow player. I take my time to learn how everything works in the game. So up until last Abyss, like the last Abyss, floor 11 was very, very hard for me, especially on the chamber in which you have to defend the monolith. That was very, very hard for me. And actually, I've never gotten all the starts in floor 11. So for me, floor 9 and floor 10 are fairly easy, but then floor 11 is kind of my floor 12. I've never attempted floor 12, and I promised myself not to do it until I got all the stars on, floor 11. But that being said, Last Abyss wasn't that hard for me at all. I don't remember any chamber containing like the Defend the Monolith trial, and I got almost all the stars. My issue was that I wasn't able to clear the last chamber on floor 11. But besides that, it was like not as hard. Like I think that I could have eventually gotten all the stars with a different team maybe. So I decided to film myself attempting the new Abyss and see if I could, get all the stars even on floor 11. And as always, I checked the enemies, but in the end, I chose the teams that I almost always choose. For the first phase, I always really like to use my Red and Hyper team because she is kind of strong. She's one of my stronger characters. Bennett is also kind of strong, Fischl. And then Kazuha is not only strong, but also serves a purpose on crowd controlling. So that's very, very helpful for me. And then on the second side, I usually do Dignary because he's also very strong, and although my Kokomi and my Koating are not that strong, they kind of do their job for the hyper plumes, and the aggravates. Nahida, however, is a recent addition, and I don't know how to use her yet, so yeah, you may have noticed that. So yeah, I decided to bring this not so serious VOD reaction, and of course, I'm gonna be reviewing my own gaming and kind of, saying all the things that I could improve. But of course, feel free to help me improve as well. Of course, keep it respectful in the comments. But of course, I would love to, to see anything that I may not have noticed or, understand a mechanic that I yet not understand. So feel free to explain, all of those things. Feel free to do your own review, but of course, in a respectful way. The most obvious thing that I could improve is, of course, my character builds. On my first team, they're kind of well built, like not perfect, they all can get a lot of improvement, especially Raiden. But it kind of makes an actual team. Definitely my strongest team. However, on the second one, I think that only Tignari is kind of well built. I use coaching a lot, so I honestly think that I should take my time to improve her, but she's really not that well improved, and I could also improve my playstyle with her, because I feel like I don't really know how to play her that well. Then Kokomi and Nahida are just not built at all. I'm kind of working on it though, not super intensely, but I am on it. But yeah, I definitely should be upgrading their artifacts and leveling their talents a little bit more. Then another thing that I could improve is researching the enemies a little bit more. Like I usually only pay attention to like elements, but I'm sure that a lot of enemies have like, certain specific elemental resistances or mechanics that I don't understand because I have not learned them, and so I may be wondering why is this element, which in my head should be very strong against this opponent, not damaging it as much as I was anticipating. So I definitely should learn a little bit more about the enemies and use that in my advantage when I'm making the team and making like my moves on the battlefield. Which also takes me to the way I play my teams. As you can see, I'm not using any rotations, like fixed rotations or anything. I'm more about just applying all the elements. The way I try to play my Raiden team is basically charging up all of the bursts and then stacking them so that Raiden does like the most damage possible. And I'd say that it also revolves around swirling everything with Kazuha. I do that a lot, like when I don't know whether I'm, gonna be using all of the bursts one after the other. I usually just apply some electro, apply some pyro, and then just swirl, swirl, swirl as much as possible with Kazuha. So that's kind of the way that I play that team. And then the second team is Hyper Bloom. Dignity is definitely the strongest character. And then I use Koching and Kokomi just for the elements. And Nahida, I added her because even though I still don't know how to properly use her and she's not built at all, I think that she's meant to buff Dendro reactions. So Hyper Bloom should be buffed by her. I don't know how much she's buffing all of that because, she's not that well built and I've still not studied her kit. So I'm not sure I'm using her well, like the timing and the, every scale of hers. I don't know if I'm using everything correctly and if I'm actually buffing the reactions or not. But that's the reason why I brought her along, even though I still don't know what to do with her. I put her on the team because I thought that a bit more buffing would be good. But yeah, there's a lot that I can still improve, like I could study better like the characters' kits, like how they synergize with one another, how to play each team, also making actual teams, like teams that do have synergy, because I kind of struggle with that a little bit. And since the rest of my characters are not that well built, I just end up using the same teams time after time. Last Abyss, I actually changed to a Navia team because I remember that there was a lot of Geos, so I thought that, I would probably benefit a lot of that team instead of my Raiden Hyper. But for the second phase, I believe that I still used the Tighnari Hyper Bloom. Also, you may have noticed in the video that some of the parts have been cut out, and that is because sometimes I lose a lot of time. For example, sometimes I'm just attacking, like normal attacking, and losing a lot of time just because I don't want to waste a burst, because I believe that it could be, finished without wasting that attack. But then it ends up, taking much longer than I thought, and that, it's not really that punishing on the first floors because they're fairly easy. But then when the fight gets more intense, every second matters. So yeah, that could be fixed with either rotations or a better understanding of like my characters, and also knowing their cooldowns and everything, which I kind of know, but sometimes I lose track of those because I'm playing kind of in a chaotic way, and I'm not paying that much attention to that. Sometimes I also start playing without thinking, like I get anxious to finish, like when something's taking longer than I thought it would take. I start playing without thinking much in advance, and so I end up wasting attacks, and yeah. So a bit of studying and planification before the battle would benefit me a lot, and then remaining, focused during the actual fight and not starting to like touch buttons and throwing away attacks in just any way, in any order, could, help a lot as well. And by the way, I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion or not, but I've heard a lot of people say so many times that they despise the charged attack playstyle with like, bow characters. And actually, I love it so much, especially on the Abyss that you cannot heal, and sometimes you're, low on health, or I don't know, something happens and you don't really want to get close to the enemy. And for me, being able to charge attack from the distance is amazing. I really love that playstyle. Here, as you can see, I'm just, I could have used a burst and ultimate attack, but I didn't want to kind of waste it, so I decided to just normal attack so many times, and it took longer than I thought. Okay, so we have arrived to floor 11, and let me tell you that I was scared the moment I realized that it was a defend the monolith thing, because I thought that it would be like the previous time, and I swear that I don't remember this being that way. Like, I think that the last Abyss had a different trial. But still, I found this one a lot easier than the ones that we had before. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but I believe that the others were more aggressive. I found it very, very hard to protect the monolith. Like, there were too many enemies at a time, and they were very tanky and very aggressive. Like, they dealt a lot of damage. So I really, really found it very hard to protect the monolith. And this time, I mean, I could have done better, I think, but I still did very well in my opinion. I mean, I don't know if it's because I used to do it so badly that I think that I did well, but I don't know, looking at it now, it had been perfectly saved until, safe until this enemy here who's allowed to shoot from the distance started to shoot at it. So I don't know. If you have any strategies for that kind of trial, like, just please share those, because I'm very interested. Okay, and thanks to my first team doing so well, now if my second team doesn't do that well, I still have, a margin of error. But still, I didn't find it that, difficult. Like, there were only 4 enemies, and they were a little bit tanky in a way, but they were not that aggressive, and they ignored the monolith almost all the time. Like, they were more interested in me than the monolith, so that was very helpful to keep it safe. So yeah, I'd say that this was one of the only times that I've kind of enjoyed this kind of target defense trial. But yeah, I'm so bad at those, and they could bring back the others, like the previous ones that were very hard for me. So yeah, if you have any kind of strategy or any kind of advice, please just share. See, I don't know how to play my coaching. Like, sometimes I'm literally hitting the air, which is not productive at all. So yeah, I need to improve her, but I also need to learn how to properly play her. 3 stars in one of those. I rarely ever get those, so I'm very happy. Okay, we're already at chamber 2. First team. Oh, I remember now. Okay, there's something that I really wish I had not done here, but I'm gonna tell you in a minute. So far this is fine, I'd say. But then, as you can see, I was stacking all the ultis, and see that? I used Raiden's ult for nothing. Like, I really should have saved it for the next wave of enemies, but whatever. Like, it's not an incredible loss, but every time I remember it, I'm like, oh no, why did I do that? Sometimes I just lose a lot of time trying to normal attack something. And this time, like, I mean, maybe not with normal attacks, but I could have used, like, some other skill, and it probably would have worked. But anyways. Yeah, these are kind of aggressive, but I think that I fought them well. I think it was worth it to use it there, but not before. Okay, chamber 2, second half. Oh, these guys, I remember them from like the first Nat 1 event, or one of the first ones, and they gave me a hard time. Yeah, they really did. I don't know if it was because I wasn't using like a proper team against them or what, but yeah, they're kind of aggressive too. I misclicked there. Okay, it's a little bit tanky as well, but it is working, so that's fine by me. I love my Dignity. He's pretty strong, honestly. See, once again, I could have used like any attack, but I decided to save all the ultis. And honestly, I think that it was a great idea because I was able to use them for these two. So that was great. I may have attacked a bit too much with coaching there. Like, she's not that strong and Dignity deals a lot more damage. So I probably should have, you know, switched the character a little bit sooner, but it's fine. I didn't lose that much time. It's just, you know, just to point out something that I could have done better. Okay. See here, I could have probably just added some elements before using Dignity's ult. I don't know. Still fine, it's just, you know. I'm basically repeating the pattern, like the attack pattern with this, you know, with both of them. Both enemies. And there it is. Okay, final chamber, final floor, because of course I'm not gonna do floor 12. See, I usually start my Raiden team attack with her skill, so that every other character can use her Electro in each attack. But afterwards, I just start, you know, applying elements and swirling them with Kazuha until I've basically charged every single ult, and then I can proceed to stack all of them. That's basically how I play it. But see here, I saved the, you know, the last ult from the stack. And oh yeah, that was unfortunate, losing Fischl there. But still, it wasn't that bad because, you know, they were already kind of, not weak, but like their lives had gone down by a lot. So with the HP they had left and all the other characters, losing Fischl in the last chamber wasn't that big of a deal. But yeah, it was unfortunate. And I was close to losing other characters as well, but I kind of played it well to save them. So it probably took a little bit more time. I just see, like, I almost lost Bennett there, and oh, I didn't reach the enemy with that attack. That was unfortunate as well. I wasn't close enough. Oh, and here again with Kazuha. Oh my god, I was getting nervous, definitely, because I'd been playing kind of with ease until this point, and then I just found myself in this situation in which I just lost Fischl, almost lost Kazuha, almost lost Bennett, but yeah, still made it. And we have arrived to the second half of the last chamber of the last floor, and let me tell you guys that I was not prepared for this. They were a lot more aggressive than I imagined. I don't think I'd ever fought these, so I definitely wasn't expecting them to be this hard. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say they were that hard. It's just that I could have really benefited from, you know, a shield. Kakami here wasn't really making me feel that safe, because look how they go after you with the water. I lost a lot of time running away from that. And then, I mean, I guess that the elements weren't bad, you know, but I see them losing, you know, losing HP kind of slowly, so maybe they are a bit tanky. I don't know. I should definitely research that. I don't know why I never do. But unless there's some kind of mechanic that I am not aware of, if they're Hydra, my elements and my team compositions should be fine. It's just that, yeah, see, I have to run away all the time in order to avoid losing Dignity. And since I need to charge attack with him most of the time, it's not really that productive, you know? Here I almost lost coaching, but saved her in the last minute. Yeah, that's how I lost the star. Oh god, I really thought that I could do it. Saved dignity, barely, but I did. And yeah, there it is. I lost dignity. I lost literally the strongest character on the team. But thankfully, we still had coaching and Nahida to apply Dendro. So, you know, the hyper blooms, the reactions were still possible, and they had low HP, so I believed that I could at least finish it, unlike, you know, the previous Abyss. But still, it was, you know, I was getting very nervous in case I wouldn't. But there it is, coaching. Thank you so much. But yeah, I lost 1 star. However, I will say that I am confident of being able to get it. I think the team is fine, but I can still, you know, research it a little bit and see if I should make any changes. Definitely a shielder would benefit me, so maybe I would change, I don't know, Nahida or Kakomi, because they're, you know, if they're already Hydro, I should be fine without her. But yeah, it was an interesting run, and I think I might try to get the last star some other day, so please tell me in the comments if you would like me to record it and make a video about it, and see you guys on the next video. Bye!